A mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread. Can a mayonnaise man have mayonnaise on his bread, please? A mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread. Can a mayonnaise man have mayonnaise on his bread, please?
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well. My God, what a morning it has been. It is absolute chaos. Hey, here's the schedule. Here's the schedule in my hands. I'm just scrumpling that bad boy up and I'm throwing that out the window because, my God, it has been a stressful morning, I suppose you could say. School drop-off. Worst school drop-off in the longest memory that I have, okay? Basically, Parker just was not in the mood to go out the front door today. So I had to drag him out to the car, drive him all the way to school, walk him from the car park down to his classroom, and as I've reached up to open the gate latch, this kid has sprinted all the way back to my car. So it put us a little bit behind schedule because I had to walk all the way back there with a bung knee and drag him all the way back there. So shout out to all of Parker's teachers today. You have got a day ahead of you. But anyway, guys, just had to get that off my chest. Now, as we do, let's see what the fuck this opening clip is all about because it gave me a bit of a chuckle. Let's see.
A mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread. Can a mayonnaise man have mayonnaise on his bread, please? A mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread. Can a mayonnaise man have mayonnaise on his bread, please?
My Lord, what a character to kick off today's episode. He looks like one of those fish that you find in the deep ocean. That is a very unique look, but just repeating the same phrase over and over again like he's in some sort of ISIS hostage video. Oh, God. The internet used to be about people learning guitar or just learning new hobbies and things like that. And now it's just about grown, weird men identifying as what's the word? Fucking condiments. Oh, God. The mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread, everyone. Just to emphasize his thoughts. But somewhere out there, his parents are watching that video going, thank fuck he's finally chasing his dreams. See how we just watch that video? That's how I feel my parents watch this every week, just going, God, he's fucking retarded, but at least he's doing something with his life, you know what I mean? So shout out to that legend, the mayonnaise man. I think, look, it's happened a couple of times. We've got the episode title off the opening clip, and I think we are going to have to need a absolutely crazy episode to beat Mayonnaise Man. Oh, God. I got a couple of stories for you this week, but before we do rip in, guys, look what is in my hand. It is a delicious can of Celsius. Let me crack this and we'll get into the exciting news. Oh, yeah. No exciting news. We are going to touch on some sponsorship later on in the episode, but let's get into what the fuck has gone on in my life this week first. I'm going to take a little sippy susu of this delicious Celsius. Oh, yeah. What do we got? Watermelon lemonade. Not bad. Look, it's a good flavor. Don't get me wrong. Is it my favorite? No, definitely not. I think the peach raspberry still takes the cake as my favorite. So, Celsius, if you're watching this bad boy, shoot your boy a couple of cases. Anyway, what has happened this week in my life? Let's kick off with this one. We just spoke about Parker's awful drop-off. So let's talk about his new addiction. Now, we spoke about his music addiction that he had a couple of weeks ago. He's still interested in it all. Has it become the obsession that I was hoping it was going to come for him? Not really. I don't think we've got the next Beethoven on our hands, but he is still fucking around with it and stuff. So maybe, but the last thing I want to do is put that pressure on him and then he just starts to hate it. So we're slowly just poking him, just going, hey, want to play with your music app? So yeah, and even so he likes making fucking EDM, electronic music on there. And I was cruising with him and Westy the other afternoon and I go, oh, do you boys know who Skrillex is? And they're like, nah, never heard of him. And I'm like, oh, P, you're going to love him. So I started playing some old Skrillex songs where it sounds like just two Transformers fucking. And he loved it. He goes, oh, can we listen to that guy again? So who knows? Maybe we got the next big DJ on our hands. But anyway, this is this week's obsession. Actually, it's been the last 2 weeks, if I'm being honest. They have stuck to this one, and it's quietly scary, okay? So I think it was Weston that originally had the idea. He came to Nikita and I. He's like, can we get a pull-up bar for the house? And I'm like, no, we don't need a fucking pull-up bar for the house. I go, you've got a gigantic playground out the back with monkey bars. Go do pull-ups on the monkey bars. And they go, oh, we want to do them like at nighttime. It's too dark out there. And I'm like, I'll get a fucking sensor light or something out there. And they're like, no. And they just kept going. And I go, it's just going to be something that we buy. You're going to use it 3 times and it's going to get shoved in the cupboard like everyone else's hobby that they've got in here. And they just kept harping on. And eventually they must have got Nikita on a good day or something because she bought one online. I think she just got it from Kmart or some shit. It was like $20, just a cheap one. And there's one of those like the fucking, you hook it on your door frame. Like you got a door, you got a gym type thing. And I was a little bit skeptical about the whole thing. I got it out of the box. I built it, like put it all together. And I like hung it on the door frame and I'm like, this is going to rip the architrave off. This is just going to lead to another job for me. And we put it on there and I didn't hang off it, but I put a fair bit of my weight on it and it was holding there. I'm like, okay, not bad. Obviously, like these things have been around for fucking since I was a kid. So obviously they've tried and tested all these designs and they've finally got something that works. And straight away, Westy jumps on and he does like half a pull-up. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, Westy. Like the kid's fucking, how old's Westy now? Like 9 or something? I don't know. My kids are at that age where you just forget how old they are. But anyway, then Parker gets on. He just belts out like 3, like good formed pull-ups straight off the bat. And I'm like, oh, that was so good, P. He's like, yeah, that was fun. And then he starts like, you can pull this thing off the door and put it in a different position on the ground. You can do sit-ups with it, push-ups with it, just all like the generic body weight exercises. And this kid like smashes those ones out, goes for a little 10-minute walk, and he goes, Dad, can you lift me back up on the pull-up bar? I'm like, oh, aren't your arms sore from the last ones? He goes, yeah, but I want to do more. Smashes out another 3. And we're like, okay, that's enough for the day. And this kid, over the last 2 weeks, I'd say, he is now punching out sets of 10. It's actually insane. And Westy can probably do 2 now, like 2 in a row, and then he just pretends he's got an injury or something. He's like, oh, the bar slipped off the door, or I got a cramp. And I'm like, yeah, I know that trick. That was my trick at every football training. Anyway, he's doing sets of 10 and stuff. And this kid is weirdly starting to become jacked. Like a couple weeks ago, like he was a cute little pudgy 6-year-old. Like he had the little chubbiness that you'd expect from a generic 6-year-old. And the other day, like 2 days ago, I picked him up and his body is getting like fucking rock hard in a non-weird way to say about your son, okay? And I'm like, bro, you need to like chill out. I'm like, you're getting too jacked for a 6-year-old. And then I start giving him the warnings that like, I don't even know if they're like scientifically true these days. But when I was a kid, they're like, oh, you don't want to start working out too hard until you're like 16 or something because it'll stunt your growth. So I started like scaring him with those stories. He's like, I don't care. I want muscles now. Oh, God. He's just getting so jacked. I'm starting to think that he's just going to go to school and just start like threatening the other kids for their lunch money or something, even though their school doesn't have a canteen. They're just going to be sneaking money from their fucking mum's purse and shit. But yeah, I just feel like he's getting prison jacked. Oh, just one more week and he's going to be asking me for money for the fucking commissary or whatever the like buying thing in a prison is. But yeah, that's where that one's at. Oh, God. All right, let's get on to this is my gripe for the week, okay? Is this a perfectly flowing segue from the first story? Definitely not. And I think that's why I'm just talking so much now and creating so much distance between story A and story B. Speaking about A and B, my God, I had to help Westy with this is a fucking complete sidetrack, so just bear with me. I had to help Westy with his homework this morning. He was meant to do it last night, but none of us could be fucked to force him to do it. So we're like, do you promise you'll do it in the morning before school? He's like, yeah. And of course that led to a tantrum. Anyway, I sit down, I start doing his homework with him. I don't know how the fuck these kids do this shit. I was stumped. And I'm trying to work, like I worked out a few of them with him. And then we get to some other questions. And I'm like starting to put it on him. I'm like, oh, I don't know. What do you think it is, Westy? I've got no fucking idea. He could tell me the answer is fucking, what's the answer to 2 + 2 reindeer? And I'll just be like, yes, you are so smart. Good job. Write it down. That's the type of fucking brain, like mindset I was in. And I just got stumped on these last 3 questions. So I called out to Nikita. I'm like, how do you work this shit out? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, how's he supposed to know if we don't even know? She's like, oh, usually I just like Google it in the background and then he works it out and I just check if it's right on Google. I'm like, brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Except I wasn't as secretive. And then, so I had a calculator and I had my phone like trying to work it out and then Google it. And he's like, why do I need to know all this shit if like I could just Google it like you're doing? And I'm like, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not entirely stoked about the schooling system. I've never been a big supporter of the schooling system, okay? But legally we have to send you to school. Otherwise we have to homeschool you. And look how that's going right now. Anyway, now what I've done, ladies and gentlemen, right now is I've yet again gone into another story that has a terrible segue to what the fuck I'm supposed to be talking about. So you know what we're going to do? You know what always helps with distancing stories from each other? Another sip of delicious Celsius. So let's have a sip and we'll just get into my gripe for the week. Oh, that hit the spot. So I live on a relatively quiet street. Is my street what people call a cul-de-sac? I believe it is because if you go to the end, it's just a dead end. Is that the definition of cul-de-sac? I guess we'll never know unless we Google it, and we don't have the time for that, and we don't have a button pusher. So we're just going to pretend that I live on a cul-de-sac. Anyway, it's a quiet street. Over the last probably month, there has been 2 to 3 learner driver schools that have discovered our street. Now, obviously, with it being somewhat quiet, it's a good street for learner drivers to come and practice some maneuvers. There is a hill at the end as you approach the dead end. There's so many people like learning hill starts. They're practicing reverse parks on the hill, just doing all this shit. The other day, there was a learner driver that somehow, I still to this day do not understand how they did it, but across the road from us, one of our neighbors, they've got like the gutter, and in the gutter is one of those generic drains. Somehow this learner driver has got the whole back half of their car up onto the drain, and it's just stuck in the air. Like I was watching out the window. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you've done that. And then the driving instructor had to get out and try and like get it off this. It took them like 20 minutes to get it off. So I don't know if they're going to pass their test. Let's hope not for our safety. Anyway, so yeah, our street has just turned into a learner driver school, and it is frustrating to. Usually, I can fly down my street, and look, with a respectable amount of speed. Okay, I'm not doing 100 down here. I'm doing like, I don't know, what's the speed limit? 50? Maybe I'm doing 70. Okay, maybe for legal purposes, I'm definitely not. But let's just say I'm doing that anyway. I'm trying to get home from work. I'm trying to get home from school pickup, things like that. And I'm just stuck behind someone that is just fighting for their life, trying to work out how to drive this Hyundai Getz or something like that. So it's very frustrating. I don't know if anyone else has this situation going on, but what do we got next? All right, let's get into this one. That was a fucking shit story. I've said this before. Sometimes you jot things down. Sometimes it's been a quiet week and you're looking in your show notes and you go, fuck, I'm a few stories short this week. Let's fill it with something. And you're driving home behind a learner driver school and you go, this should fill 5 minutes. And that's where that story was at. Anyway, let's get on to, look, I don't know if this will be an exciting story either, but let's all cross our fingers and toes right now and hope that we get something out of this. So, as we all know, I fucking love my day job. It is what I wake up for in the mornings. And do I wake up for it out of pure joy and excitement to go and see what the magical world of cabinet making has in store for me today? No. Do I wake up for it and go there because I need a paycheck at the end of the week? 100%. Anyway, I've had this job bubbling along since probably, I don't know, October, November last year. And it's probably one of the biggest jobs that we're going to run through the business in a while. And just the just the wheeling and dealing that I've done with this bloke. This is one of those sales. As much as I hate my job, this is one of the jobs where I stand back now that it's all signed, sealed, and delivered, and I go, fuck, I did a good job on that one. Just the hustle on the phone, just them coming back to you going, oh, can you do this? And you go, no, I don't think we can, buddy. And then you win that argument. Oh, there is nothing better. And now there is nothing better than me, a bloke that lives in Logan. He drives a car that, as I mentioned, I can't afford to get it serviced. He lives paycheck to paycheck. He doesn't have much to show for in his life, okay? Now, this guy that this job is for, he is at least a millionaire, okay? But from having chats with him, I reckon he would be approaching that B, you know what I mean? Approaching that billionaire status. And I got it done over him, okay? And there's nothing more satisfying than him getting off the phone going, God, those dogs from Logan, they've got that fucking hustle in them. And so this bloke is building a house in a magical land here on the Gold Coast. If you're in the area, you'll know the area. It's called Sanctuary Cove, okay? Now, Sanctuary Cove, for those that don't live near me, it is a gated community on the Gold Coast where basically all the rich people get together behind the fence and they go, let's keep all that scum on that side of the fence and we will just live the most glamorous life on the inside of this fence. Whatever happens in here, it's basically like Vegas in there. There is no rules. Everyone's in a fucking Ferrari or a Lambo. Just the amount of money flying around in that estate is absolutely insane. And the only time that they let said scum sitting in this chair come into the estate is when they need trade services done. The amount of tradies in there, absolutely insane. Like, there was maybe a kilometre of just tradie vehicles just waiting at the gates to get in the day that I went down there. And it's like that every time I go down there. Anyway, so I knew I had this big meeting coming up. It was Thursday, I think. I'm going to take another sip. So I knew I had this big meeting coming up. And I was in a bit of a funk the day of the meeting, okay? And I was like, fuck, I've got to go down here. I've got to see like 12 Lambos and shit. I only saw 3 on the day, actually. 3 Lamborghinis on a Thursday morning. Nothing more inspiring, you know? And so I'm like, I'm not in the mood to chat. I'm not in the mood to go look at rich cunts' houses. I'm not in the mood to see all these luxury sports cars that I could never even dream of getting into. And I was like, how can I cheer me up? Oh, I know. On the way to Sanctuary Cove is my new favourite little hobby, SJ2K, which is a card shop at Kmart. I am fucking obsessed with that shop. I mean, I went there again. So I've been there twice this week. Okay, we'll get into it. And look, I'm not fucking hemorrhaging money when I go there. I'm just digging through their $2 bin, as I told you. But it's just fun to get there. It's a fun environment. The banter flying around, and that's where I'm getting to with them. I'm slowly breaking the awkwardness of like a new customer. I'm starting to like, there's a guy down there that I have frequented, I suppose, and we're becoming quite friendly. Now, would I love nothing more than that company to come on board as a sponsor to the podcast? 100%. But is it too early to shoot my shot? Yes, because they're not going to want to sponsor someone that just digs through their $2 bins. So when I save up my pennies one day and I buy like a $500 box of UFC cards, then I can go, oh, since I'm buying this, do you guys want to, I don't know, maybe sponsor the podcast? And like, hey, don't give me any money. Just throw me like a $50 box of UFC cards every week or something. I don't know. It's a win-win for everyone. Anyway, so sorry guys, my brain the sidetracks are well and truly present for this episode. So I hope you guys are staying along. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, that might be a little positive for the drive back because it didn't open it until like 10 or something. So I go, fuck, check my wallet. I had no cash on me. Didn't really want to use any money from the account because we got bills and fucking Parker's surgery and shit coming up this Friday. This Friday or next Friday? I don't know, one of them. 22nd, when's that? That's next Friday. Anyway, I didn't want to touch the account. So I'm like, what can I do? And I remembered I haven't cleared out my my ashtray and my cup holder in the car for a little while. Now, my wallet doesn't have a coin compartment. So when I get change, I just go back to the ute and throw it in there. And when I need like an energy drink or something, I'll just dig through there, get the money out of there, and I'll go buy it with that. And I remembered I hadn't really cleaned it out in a little while. So I was like, you know what? There might be a few goldies in there, a couple of gold coins kicking around the bottom of that. So I cruise out to my ute before I leave, start digging through. I end up finding $18 worth of gold coins in there. Now, there was a fuckload more silver coins and things like that. But as I previously stated, I don't want to be that guy at the card shop that just goes and like burdens them with all my change. So gold coins was as far as I was going to push it. And to be honest, I didn't even know if they were going to accept $18 worth of gold coins, but it was worth a crack. So I knew $18 would get me 9 UFC cards out of the $2 bin, and I thought I could find something in there. Now, I did want to position this as like a fun little reel for like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but as I said, I wasn't really in a mood, so the video wasn't really coming out how I wanted it to come out, but it was going to be like something along the lines of turning $18 out of your ashtray into fucking $1 million worth of trading cards. Something along those lines, you know what I mean? I just wanted to become the Wolf of Wall Street of UFC cards. But so I went down there, I did the measure, cruised back, and started digging through it. And I thought I found some decent finds, okay? I got a couple of Derek Lewis cards. He's a big fighter in the UFC. He's fighting on the White House card. When I found 2 of his cards, and they weren't like base cards, they were like, had good backgrounds and shit like that. So I was like, all right, we'll get those. Then I saw a Justin Gaethje card, again, fighting on the White House card. So I'm like, maybe their stock is rising in the card business at the moment. And then I found like another couple that just sort of I liked personally. So I bought them, got them back to the office, started scanning them, and all of them were worth basically nothing. They're all worth what I like paid for them. So basically breaking even on that bad boy. But worst case scenario, I just keep them for my personal collection, you know? Like I said, they're all cool cards. So, oh God, where was I even going with that? Speaking about like Wolf of Wall Street, he's like I am like the Wolf of Wall Street, you know? He started trading like penny stocks and things like that. I'm just trading ashtray money for fucking refractors and holographics. Anyway, I remember, here's another sidetrack for you. As I was doing this, I'm like, flipping cards. That's the easiest way to become a millionaire these days. And I thought back, like all my mates and shit that I used to hang out with, they, like when we left school, they were all flipping cars and things like that. Then they moved up to flipping houses, and they're all fucking so rich now. Like they're all in mansions and shit down the coast. One of them is near Sanctuary Cove, not quite in the gated community yet, but his next house probably will be. They're all in like $100,000 sports cars and things like that. And I'm just like, if they could see me now, the way that I'm flipping these cards, they would be so fucking jealous. So I don't know, maybe we'll get there one day. But anyway, let's break out of this. Let's break the awkwardness of this episode with the turns out it can get worse clip. Which one is this? Okay. Yep. All right. I know exactly. I do this every week. I don't name the video the same as what I've written on the run sheet, and it just fucks me every week. But anyway, let's hit play on this bad boy.
The ladies watching the video, here's some of my hair. Yummy.
Jesus Christ, where did that hair come from? Nothing gets ladies going more than unidentified hair. Just some pubic confetti. My God. Now that I look at the picture, his hair was pretty short, so let's hope that is hair from his head. Anyway, yesterday was Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers listening to this. I should have taken a sip before I ripped into this story. Let's take a quick sip now. Yeah. Shout out to all the mums listening to this. So I'm not much of a planner, okay? I don't plan too much in advance. The main reason I don't plan too much in advance is when I do shit, like whenever I buy Nikita or the kids a present, I basically want to come straight from the shop and give it to them because I'm so excited about what I just bought. I hate buying shit and putting it in a cupboard for like months. Like that is not me. You can guarantee every birthday and Christmas, if you get a gift from me, that has been bought the day before because I cannot contain my excitement for longer than a day. So the kids and I went to the shops on last Monday and got Nikita's Mother's Day present, which that was a long wait before I could give it to her. And the other thing we were going to do is like cook her, like the traditional fucking Mother's Day thing, cook her breakfast in bed, things like that. And believe it or not, you guys might look at me and go, you know what? That guy in that couch, he screams chef. Believe it or not, I fucking hate cooking. Nikita always tells me, like, when I get a recipe and I focus and I actually try and cook something, it usually comes out pretty good. And Nikita's always like, oh, you should get more into cooking and things like that. And I could not think of anything worse. I do not have the patience to get into cooking. And so I was like, oh, what can I cook her for Mother's Day? And I hit the boys up. They're like, what if we just do like bacon and eggs? And I'm like, traditional, simple, easy enough. Let's lock it in. Now, did I organize the bacon and eggs? No, because Nikita went to do groceries on Saturday, and every week she buys bacon and she buys eggs. So I knew she was going to get it anyway. She comes home and I go, oh, thank fuck you bought bacon. She goes, yeah, but that's for something I'm cooking. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just going to use it for something, and then I'll buy you some more bacon on like Monday. She's like, no, that's my bacon. I'm like, when the fuck did we get into like his and hers food that's in the pantry and fridge? So I'm just going to go buy something sick today, and when she goes to eat it tonight, like a block of chocolate or something, I'll be like, that's my chocolate. You can't touch it. Anyway, and she goes, oh, I don't want bacon and eggs for Mother's Day anyway. Oh, excuse me. Picky and rude, I might say. Hey, it's been a while since I've had to say this. Anyone that knows Nikita, that was said out of pure joke and funness, okay? There was nothing underlying or serious there. Shout out to all my haters out there. So I go, okay, what do you want? She goes, I don't know, surprise me. And I'm like, well, I was trying to surprise you, but you didn't want the surprise. So I hit the boys up. I go, boys, we've got an emergency. Mum doesn't want bacon and eggs. They go, what about pancakes? She loves pancakes. And I'm like, easy. Pancakes with the works. Now, once we established that, did I go out and buy everything required for pancakes with the works? No. I just had the idea in my head and I go, perfect, that's what we're doing tomorrow. Proceed to wake up the morning of Mother's Day. I go to gym at like 3, get home at like, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Boys already awake waiting for me. I'm like, oh, you didn't wake Mum, did you? They're like, no, we just fucking snuck out here into the lounge room. I'm like, okay, sweet. Let's let her have a little bit of a sleep in while we organize everything for breakfast. Start looking through the cupboard. We got no pancake mix. Start looking for fucking ice cream, whipped cream, strawberries, everything else you have with it. We don't have anything. I'm like, fuck. So luckily, there has been an IGA open about 5 minutes from me as of late. Now, this little IGA is fucking sick, so shout out to them. And I had to do an emergency run to there at 6 a.m. when they opened. And went there, got the ice cream, got the whipped cream, and it was a hit, ladies and gentlemen. I cooked these pancakes. I don't want to brag, okay? I don't want to fucking brag. I was going to cook them in the frying pan, and I was like, there is something about me and frying pans that don't get along. But a barbecue, I can wrangle a barbecue. So I'm like, I'm going to cook the pancakes on the barbecue. And I fucking nailed these bad boys. They were so fluffy and delicious. My God, I've outdone myself. So we had breakfast. Then the next thing. Now I thought I'd done enough. Okay? I'd woken up. I'd bought her the gift that she wanted. She was over the moon with that. I'd cooked her a delicious breakfast. We're eating breakfast. Then she hits us with the next question. What are we doing today? And I'm with half a pancake in my mouth. I've gone, the boys and I thought would let you decide. That old age classic when you haven't organised anything. Now, I was of the mindset of we're broke as fuck and we can't afford to do anything. And I go, oh, boys, what do you reckon we should do with Mum? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, oh, what if we go to a place I want to go down the coast? And I'm like, okay. What is it? Then she hits us with, it's called David Flay's Wildlife Park. And I said to her, who the fuck is David Flay? And she goes, I don't know. There's just a wildlife park down at Burleigh. And I go, a wildlife park down at Burleigh. This is not adding up, okay? Burleigh it's a hustling and bustling Gold Coast suburb. Yes, there's bushland and things like that I know of, but that's more like walking tracks and fitness influencers to go and film shit and post to Instagram. So I'm like, where would this place be at Burleigh? And I'm like, if anything, it's not going to be very big. And Nikita goes, I don't know. I just saw it on some sort of mums and bubs group or something like that. And her sister's been talking to her about it. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. Now, it has been a while since I've shat on some sort of zoo or wildlife park, probably since the Darling Downs Zoo that we went to. Do I want to do that with David Flay's Wildlife Park? Maybe let's tell the story and then we'll decide at the end as a group. Now, we drive down there. I look at pricing. Pricing is up there for what I've prepared myself for. It was $30 an adult and $20 a kid, I think, which I'm like, that seems excessive for what I'm preparing myself for. But I go, okay, she wants to do it. Let's go. We get down there. Now, this is the first green tick. They go, oh, are you a mum? Wild stab in the dark. She's got a husband and 2 kids standing beside her. Good pick. And Nikita goes, yeah. And she goes, oh, congratulations. Mum's getting free today. So that's the first green tick. I go on, you beauty. Not only are we doing something for Nikita, she gets it for free. So we get in there and straight away I start to get a sneaky suspicion that this isn't going to be all it's cracked up to be. Now, the only thing that I was like standing back on is it's owned by the Gold Coast Council. So I'm like, okay, this is a money laundering scheme by the council. They're just going to funnel all this money into this little zoo and just hide some money, you know? And we get in there and it is just it's your generic wildlife park. Now, if you're an Australian, I understand for international tourists and stuff, this could be exciting. But if you're an Australian that has seen kangaroos, koalas, emus thousands of times in your life, this place was absolutely fucking boring. There were 12 cages, or they weren't really cages, let's call them enclosures, of tree kangaroos. That is excessive in my book. If you get to like the 3rd enclosure of a tree kangaroo and you go, oh, found it, and then you get to the next one, you don't need another fucking 9 enclosures or however many adds up to be 12. It was underwhelming. Let's just say that. The only thing that saved it is we got to like the crocodile exhibit. They have one of the biggest crocodiles I've ever seen. This thing was gigantic. I wanted to jump down and touch it. But obviously, you know, you can't do that. And then I started doing the old, I'm going to throw you in, boys. Almost dropped my sonnies in with the crocodile. That was scary. But yeah, I don't know. Little too many tree kangaroos for my liking. Would I recommend it? I don't think I would, guys. I don't think I would. If you've been to David Flay's Wildlife Park, shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think. But yeah, crocodile was the only thing there that I half respected. You know what I mean? So shout out to those guys. What else have we got here? All right, let's just rip into these last 2 little stories. We'll make them quick and painless. So, end of last week's episode, I mentioned that I was going to monetize the podcast. Now, you guys probably listened to last week's episode, heard that little announcement, got to the end of the episode and go, I don't remember hearing any fucking ad reads or anything like that. Is James on the crack pipe again? And yeah, I'm regularly smoking crack. Anyway, I posted the episode last week, and before I hit post, the box pops up again and it goes, congratulations, you've got enough listeners to now monetize your podcast. Do you want to do this? And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that popped up, and I didn't do it because I felt like a fraud with the episodes that I was releasing to get paid for it, you know? And this week I go, you betcha, click the big blue button, and it replies to me and goes, congratulations. We'll get back to you in 10 business days once we've assessed your podcast and see if it's, suitable for us to put ads towards. And I've gone, great. Jesus Christ. I cannot wait 10 days because in 10 days, my downloads are probably going to drop back down to 3 downloads a week and I can't fucking monetize the podcast. So who knows where that's going to get to. But the good news is, in a weird fucking strike of lightning, we do have a sponsor that is officially jumping on board. And I also pulled my finger out this week and I sent the email to Celsius, the last ditch attempt to basically say, hey, let's make this official. I sent them the email, broke it down in black and white. This is how many downloads I'm getting. Everyone listening to the podcast is sending me countless DMs every week saying, hey, we're fucking jumping on the Celsius train. Let's get on board. And just put it black and white and just went, hey, this is what it is. I've put your drink in the hands of world champs, influencers, things like that. Let's make this happen. And I'm not looking for like financial backing. I'm looking for like just product. Send me a case a month, and that will get me through my drinks and my little drives to the shows. And so we will see. Hopefully I get an answer from them this week. And but the sponsor that is jumping on board. Now, this has been a big back and forth in my head as to whether or not it is the right thing. Now, let's preface this first. I know that this is a big issue for certain people out there, and I put my hand up. I've said on the podcast countless times before, I have had issues with this in the past, and that, of course, is gambling. I know that it is a very dangerous path to go down. Now, do I need to remind you guys about the $3,000 that I lost on a college basketball game many years ago? I don't think so, because we've drummed on about it many times before. Once that happened, I sort of had the whereabouts to go, okay, this is a fucking dangerous path. Let's step right back. And now I just put like a sneaky $5 or $10 in every now and then and just have a bit of fun. Like put $2 on an NRL game, and it is just so exciting. Just thinking that $2 is going to win you $1 million. It's never going to fucking come through, but it just makes the game so much more exciting. Now, I've had many cases of hanging around people with like gambling issues and things like that. Around the time of that $3,000, one of my good mates, we were all betting at the time. We were betting on every fucking NRL game, every horse race, every fucking Japanese ping pong tournament. We were just down a bad road. And one of my mates put in the group chat, he goes, boys, need you guys to come around. I've done something pretty bad. So me and a couple of mates drove to his house, and he goes, I just lost $10,000 on a horse race. And we've gone, that is absolutely fucked. And so we're like, okay, how do we help you? We all say, okay, we're going to stop betting for a couple of weeks. Like, we're with you on this. He deletes all his betting apps and shit on his phone before we leave. We're like, okay, we've done our job here. Next day in the group chat again, boys are fucked up again. Downloaded the app after we left, tried to win his money back, lost another 10 grand on another horse. So it made my $3,000 look very, very small, because this guy has lost $20,000 in 2 days on 2 fucking donkeys. So I understand all the risks. I understand all that. But I would be lying to myself and to you guys if I said I do not fucking still dabble here and there on the UFC, on basketball, on footy, things like that. So when I was approached by a betting agency to jump on board as a sponsor, I really had to assess it and break it down and go, is this the right thing? Now, if I wasn't still gambling, then maybe not. And the betting agency that's approached me is Knucklebet. You guys, if you're in the podcasting world, you probably heard of them. They've jumped on a few podcasts as of late. They're a new betting agency, which is why I'm getting a look in. And it's owned by fucking Knuckles, who owns CTC, Country Trucker Caps. And so he's got a good backing behind him. He's a good bloke. So all these things are just green ticks in my head. And I'm like, okay, let's entertain it. Jumped on the phone to them. They laid down what they want me to do, what I get in return. And it's just fucking, it seems silly to pass up on it. So the good news is the podcast is finally getting some financial backing, which is absolutely fucking unreal. And they don't really expect much from me. Like, the big thing they want to jump on board with is the can't bet any worse multis on my UFC breakdowns, which is easy enough. Like, I'm doing that anyway. So at the end of that, I just have to be like, brought to you by Knucklebet or something like that. So what I do want to preface, though, and I was pretty clear with them on this is purely just a relationship between me and you. So as I said, if you do have any gambling issues in the past, if you're worried about losing money, things like that, I get it. And that is why I said to them, I don't want this to be like a sign-up code for my listeners or a discount code, whereas like if they bet $50, I get $50 in return, something like that. I just want it between you and me, and that's it. And they were all on board. So do not feel obliged to go and support them on my behalf. It's purely just a fucking me and them thing, and every episode either run a pre-recorded ad or I'll just do it on the fly, like fucking tell you guys what I'm betting on or something this week, brought to you by Knuckles Bet. So just wanted to let you guys know, obviously I'm clear and open with you guys in every episode, and I just didn't want you guys to get startled and be like, oh, Jimmy's such a fucking sellout for jumping on this betting shit. So like I said, it made sense for me. It made sense for them. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the podcast is finally getting some fucking money thrown towards it, which is, it lets the foot off my throat, as I've mentioned the last couple of weeks. Felt like I just had to make something happen. So crazy that sort of shit just falls out of the sky when you desperately need it to. So yeah, not official yet, signing all the shit this week. So I will not say shout out to Knucklebet as of yet, even though I just did. Anyway, take a little sip of this. I'm just going to skip. Should I? All right, let's just fucking do it. Obviously, you guys know the videos I was making end of last year, start of this year, training for an undisclosed boxing event in 2026. Ripped the Band-Aid off. As we all knew, it was the Podcast Royale 3.0. The card got announced last week. You guys are probably sitting there going, we didn't see your fucking dumb head on it. Yeah, exactly. I didn't get fucking picked. So the card is exactly how I predicted. This year it is sort of, look, I don't want to say it's less podcasting. The last 2 years have been heavily, it's the Podcast Royale. So it's like you have to be a podcaster to be involved with it. Whereas this year they've broadened it right up to more or less like influencers and things like that, which you can't blame them. They're going to bring more eyes to the event. It's basically going to guarantee ticket sales, pay-per-views, things like that. And yeah, a little bit, look, I'm not going to lie, a little bit dirty. I didn't get the call up. I did all those videos and shit like that. The main thing I'm dirty on is they did like a breakdown on their podcast last week. And there was about 4 people that are on the card that they said, we had to put this guy on because he was blowing up our phone. We saw him at live events. He's going, you have to put us on the card. I'll do whatever it can take, blah, blah, blah. Now, I listened to the outlay of, let's put rules in quotation marks, when they first announced it, of do not tag us in it, do not talk about it, do not message us, do not do all this. So I started putting together content. I think I did like 17 weeks of content, more or less just saying like, hey, put me on there and I will do fucking endless content to promote the fuck out of this. I followed all the rules. I didn't tag them once. I didn't message them once begging to be on the card. I saw them probably 2 times in the last 6 months where I could have been like, boys, what do I need to do to get on the card? I didn't do that shit. I followed all the rules. And to hear that some people have been put on the card off the back of breaking said rules, bit of a kick in the guts, but it is what it is. Probably sound like a salty old dog, but just frustrating, you know? You follow the rules and that's the thing. Good guys never win. You've got to be a fucking dog to get ahead in life. But anyway, maybe next year, who knows? But it's probably a silver lining I didn't get picked this year. I mean, I've got one knee on TRT now, so I'm pissing hot. So probably wouldn't have been able to go on the card anyway, but is what it is. Let's get into my week in comedy. Before we do, let's play another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Drag this over. All right.
It's a day in the life of a worm mother. First, baby gets breakfast. Oopsie, wrong side. I'm always doing that. Then baby and I play for 7 minutes. This is the highlight of my day. Now you have to change baby. I thought that might be the case. I guess breakfast does have to go somewhere. Then baby is usually pretty tired, so we put him down for a nap. Then, of course, he wakes up the second I leave the room, and I usually have to rock him to sleep.
My God, every day we drift further away from God. Look, it was Anzac Day last week. Imagine all those old veterans and stuff just storming the beaches of Normanby, and now they're just looking at future generations just become worm influencers. My God, there are some absolute fucking weirdos on the internet. That's going to be me soon. Maybe that's how I can get on the next Podcast Royale. I'll just fucking do worm influencer videos. Anyway, my week in comedy, I only had the one gig this week. The Orion Hotel for West Park Productions that we run ourselves. I didn't realize it had been this long between drinks. So it had been the first Orion Hotel gig in 10 months. Obviously, that all fizzled out. We got told new owners of the venue, they're going to extend the pokies room into the fucking, what's it called? Why am I blanking on what that room's called? What's the room called where you starts with an F? I don't know. It's going to come to me. Let's just move on. Anyway, it's been 10 months between drinks. Now, I was a little bit worried, okay, because this can go one of two ways. People can see, oh, comedy's back. Let's snatch up all the tickets, sell this bad boy out. It's been a while. Who knows when it'll come back again. Let's fucking jump on tickets while we can. Or option B, people can forget about the shit that we built there, because we were doing it monthly and we'd built a pretty good reputation out there. The shows were selling out every month. We're getting like 80 to 100 people crammed in that room. And when you stop doing rooms for a while, the hype just fizzles away. And I was worried that that's what was going to happen. And that is what happened, okay? I got to the venue and straight away they're like, oh, tickets aren't looking too good for tonight. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what are we sitting at? And they go, oh, we've only sold about 40 tickets. Now, I was still pretty pumped with 40 tickets. Like 40 people, if it's a good 40 people, can make for a sick comedy show. Obviously, 100 people would be better, but 40, like a good 40 is good for comedy. And so I set up and I'm a little bit bummed, but I'm like, no, it's still going to be a fun show. Set up all the gear. I rearranged the room. I just bring all the tables and chairs nice and tight to the front of the room, because it was all the way they spaced it out. They spaced it for 40 people to fill the entire room, and it would have been tragic. So I rejigged the room, and the show kicks off, and I got on stage, and the first thing I'd prepared myself for was to jump on there and just acknowledge it with the crowd. Just go, this is our lightest ticket sales out here at Springfield, so I need you guys to lift. As soon as I jumped on that mic, the crowd was rowdy as fuck. They were screaming shit out. They were wanting to get engaged. I didn't even get that warning out. And like, I'm starting to play with the crowd, and I'm like, thank fuck. I thought I was going to have to get up here and really fucking boost you guys up, but you guys are doing your thing. And the crowd, like I said, small crowd, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was probably our best gig we've ever had at the Orion Hotel. The crowd was absolutely insane. They were up for it. Then my performance, I'd basically said to myself on the way to the gig, I'm like, don't put any pressure on yourself. You haven't MC'd in a couple of months now. Just go up there, have some fun, see what comes out. And I did that. I was like, even if you do no jokes, just work on your crowd work, engage with the crowd, just have some fun. And I, again, want to go out on a limb and say possibly my best MC work I've ever done. It was one of those nights where I was packing up and I was like, okay, I'm quietly proud of like the performance I just did. Like, and like on the back of that, all the comedians crushed. So it made my job 10 times easier. When the comedians crush, the crowd's up for it. The MC's job is just fucking light work on the night. So it was absolutely sick to have crowd members come up after the show. They followed me on Instagram, followed the podcast on Spotify and YouTube as well. So if you are listening to this, thank you very, very much for coming to the show, and thank you for jumping on the podcast because, yeah, insane. You guys probably went back and listened to the last few weeks and went, wow, this guy's so much more sad and depressed than he was on stage on Friday night. Oh, God. But anyway, yeah, so shout out to those guys. Had a bit of a panic attack before the show, though, because do you guys get that feeling in your stomach where you're like, I feel like I'm forgetting something? 10 minutes before I had to leave, I'm like, I don't know where my microphone is, because my microphone came in this little case and it broke. So I've just been putting it in like weird spots trying to find a new home for it after I've been packing up shows. And obviously, like I said, it's been a couple of months since I've done a show, and I just got that feeling. I'm like, fuck, where's my microphone? So I had to empty out my entire car 10 minutes before the gig, and I was like, fuck, I can't find it. And I knew the venue had like a Bluetooth one that they can hook up to their internal speakers, but it just, I wasn't that keen for it, if I'm being honest. And as I'm putting everything away, I feel in the side of my speaker case a oddly shaped microphone shape. And I'm like, please, God, be the microphone and don't be some sort of secret dildo that I've hidden in the side of my speaker case. Thankfully, it was the microphone, and my panic attack could relax, and I could go to the show and deliver said performance that I just explained to you guys. So, yeah, absolutely cracking gig. I don't know. I got to talk to the entertainment manager out there. And because obviously as a venue and things like that, they were bummed on ticket sales. But after Friday night's gig, I'm pretty keen to do it again. So we'll see if they're keen to entertain the idea. Before we get into what I've consumed this week, let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip.
Can I stay with you? I need a place to stay right now. I need to stay with you. Let me in. Promise I won't need all the snacks.
Jesus Christ. She looks like female Peter Griffin. Oh, God. All right. We're coming up to the end of the episode, so let's rip through this shit pretty quickly. Things I've watched this week. Nikita and I, this has been another one on our watch list for a little while. Should I Marry a Murderer on Netflix? Finally got around to watching it on Saturday night. And I don't want to say spoiler alert because you get it from the trailer, but it's basically a woman that falls in love with a bloke. They quickly get engaged, things like that. This guy lives out on a farm and they're happily in love. Everything's going full steam ahead. And he goes, look, if we're going to get married, I need to tell you something. And she goes, okay, no worries. He goes, get in the car. He drives her up into the middle of the paddock. He goes, give me your phone and get it out of the car. So they get out of the car and then he proceeds to tell her that a few years ago, him and his brother were involved in an accident and he ended up murdering a dude. They got away with it. No one knows about it. Things like that. She starts Googling the story. Turns out he's like a cancer survivor that was doing a charity run. He's a father. He's a husband. And this guy just vanished off the face of the earth without a trace. So now it's this big internal dilemma. Does she marry the man she loves and just sweep it under the rug, or does she go to the cops? And it's a 3-episode series, and just the ups and downs of like, what the fuck are you doing? Absolutely insane. So go check it out. I'd recommend it. It was a good little watch. And the last thing I will touch on, I had a couple of things there, but like I said, we're running short on time. UFC 328. Let's do a little recap, not only of 328, but this week, I am going to go out on a limb. This has been the best week in the last few years to be a UFC fan. My God, have we been spoiled? There was one thing that didn't happen this week that had been thrown around as rumors. Obviously, with the fight card on Sunday being one of the biggest hyped fights we've had in a while. Apparently, the Conor McGregor fight was supposed to get announced yesterday during that card. The fact that it didn't get announced does make me a little bit nervous. Has it fallen through again? Are we never going to see Conor again? And look, I know all you guys listening are going to be screaming at your phone going, we're never seeing Conor. Shut the fuck up. As the biggest Conor McGregor dick rider in the world, I can't come to that realization. I need to see that walkout again. I need to see him in the cage. I'm not going to believe it, okay? Santa is fucking real. Anyway, the first thing, we kick off. They did the first UFC White House press conference. I don't know if they're doing another one before the event. Hopefully they do. But we got fucking spoiled. Like, it kicks off. All the fighters are there. It's relatively tame. And we all knew who was going to make it exciting. And that is the guy that got thrown on it last minute, Josh Hokett. Okay? The savior of the heavyweight division. The savior of the UFC. He comes in his gear that he wears, just over the top character. Is it all corny? Is it all cheesy? You fucking betcha. I hate every second of it, but at the same time, I am eating it up. I'm going, this is great. Now, he starts going at his opponent, Derek Lewis. Now, Derek Lewis, I'm pretty sure he's 41 now. He's been there. He's done that. No one can get under his skin. And he's just going, I don't give a fuck what he's saying. Whatever. He goes, let's see what happens in the octagon. So Derek Lewis isn't biting. So Josh Hokett takes it on his shoulders. He goes, I need to fucking sell this fight. What am I going to do? Obviously, he's in the heavyweight division. He's making a name for himself. He's slowly climbing the rankings. Everyone wants to see him fight. Alex Pereira has just moved up to heavyweight. And he goes, you know what? Let's poke the bear. Let's poke who is seen as the greatest fighter of this era, Alex Pereira, one of the scariest motherfuckers there is. He starts going at Alex Pereira. He starts saying shit about his mum and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, you cannot say that. You are trying to poke the bear. This guy, Alex, will actually fucking kill you, Josh Hokett. Please calm down. Anyway, Pereira is sitting there as calm as he is. Charmer. And they're like, what do you have to say about that, Alex? And he basically says, I don't care either. He just shrugs it off, gives his little grin that he has. Nothing can get under his skin either. And then Josh Hokett keeps chirping. And who do we get to take him on? None other than who is seen as possibly our next GOAT in the GOAT conversation, Ilia Topuria, who is headlining the fucking White House card. He is like a featherweight lightweight. He's in between those two divisions. He takes on Josh Hokett. He goes, fucking let's go. He's out of his chair. Security's holding him back. Security's holding fucking Josh Hokett back. Then Alex Pereira gets out of his chair. My God, Josh Hokett has awoken the beast that is like big brother, little brother of Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria. The two that are seen as like, they're easily the two best fighters in the UFC at the moment. And Josh Hokett is selling this fight. He has just sold out the White House off his own back. And my God, it was just vintage chaos of the UFC. I was so stoked to see it. Josh Hokett gets escorted off with security. He doesn't get let back out for his face off. They're like, we can't have him back on stage because everyone wanted to fucking kill him. Josh Hokett is like an autistic kid that just discovered Monster Energy, and now his confidence is just through the roof. But yeah, I am excited to see Josh Hokett fight again. My God, I just stumbled on my words. I was just getting so excited and worked up then. Let's have a sip. Then what follows, the UFC 328 press conference ended up happening. There were rumors they were going to can it. They ended up happening. And again, fireworks. Strickland and Hamzat back and forth, back at each other again. They do the face-off. Hamzat kicks Strickland. Security everywhere. Oh my God, we can't have these two guys in the same fucking building. Fireworks again. Old school UFC energy back on our screens, and I was eating it all up. And it just made me so much more hyped for the fight. Now, I obviously, with yesterday being Mother's Day, we went to that wildlife thing. I didn't really get to sit down and watch the fights too in depth. So I'm keeping track of the prelims on my phone, like in between exhibits. And then we went around to see Mum for her Mother's Day, and I ended up finding some sort of weird Russian fucking stream on TikTok. So when we get to the main card, I can't break it down too extensively because, like I said, the stream I was watching was just fucking horrible. But let's kick off with what I did see. Atiba Gautier, future champ, easily. The dude is fucking vicious and the perfect call out after it. He calls out his African brother, Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya was at one point seen as the GOAT of the middleweight division. And he's unfortunately on somewhat of a downward skid. So for Atiba Gautier, who's now making a name for himself, to call out Izzy, it's a fight that actually weirdly does make sense. And if he beats Izzy, he is well in title contention for sure. So smart moves on his behalf. Sean Brady, shout out to him. He gets the win again. He had some weird shit going on with betting lines before. And yeah, he basically went to the press conference and he's like, I knew nothing about it and suck shit to everyone that bet against me because I got the win. Then the co-main, another one of our boys, Joshua Van, silenced all the fucking haters. So shout out to him. Gets the win. I think it was fifth round TKO. Absolute banger of a fight. That is easily one of the best fights in that division we have seen in a number of years. And like I said, fucking Joshua Van just absolutely silencing the haters. And now people are respectfully saying, is he going to give Pantoja a challenge when Pantoja's finally ready to come back and challenge for the belt? And after yesterday's performance, it's definitely worth throwing around. Joshua Van, I think, can beat Pantoja, which is an insane thing to say. All right, now the main event, Sean Strickland. Holy shit. Let's just kick off with before the fight even started. I don't know if I personally have ever seen that much security in the octagon prior to a fight. Security, cops, there must have been fucking 20 bodies in there just separating these two guys. Now, what did break my heart, once they left the octagon, I wanted these two to fucking kill each other. And unfortunately, when the referee's doing touch gloves if you want, they both touch gloves. And I'm like, wait a minute. You two are supposed to fucking hate each other. Why are you two touching gloves right now? And the sportsmanship and things like that throughout the whole fight, they kept touching gloves. They kept making small talk to each other. I get they were probably still having sneaky jabs, but I wanted to witness a murder. That's what I was tuning in for. Now, was it a sick fight? Yeah, it was still a sick fight. Ended up going the whole distance. And after round one, I thought, holy shit, Hamzat is just going to do his thing. He's going to grapple fuck Strickland the whole time. And the fact that Strickland had answers to Hamzat's grappling, I think is why that we got to see a lot more stand and bang than what I thought we were going to see. Strickland had like a good second round on the ground. And I think that's why Hamzat stayed on his feet for the rest of the fight. And we get to the decision and split decision for Strickland. So absolutely unreal. Huge respect for the underdog. I said on the breakdown I gave him about a 5% chance of winning. And that's all he needed. That's all this fucking vicious dog needed. Strickland is, I think, the reason why people like him so much. He is just your generic fucking white American, autistic fucking weirdo who just goes in there and goes, I don't give a fuck who I'm versing. Hamzat is the boogeyman, okay? He is so fucking scary. And for Strickland to just go in there and go, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I'm winning this belt back. And to go in there and do it, he's just like, Strickland's like a divorced dad just defending his jet ski in a fucking custody battle. But oh my God, shout out to Sean Strickland, just fucking defying the odds. It was sick to see. But shows to plug this week. I've only got the one, and it's a sign up on the night one. So this will be the first time I'm doing it. I was supposed to do it a couple of weeks ago, but some shit went down. So Poco up on Caxton Street, Sunday the 17th. I think I'm going to go put my name in the bucket for that one and just try some new material there. Apparently it's a fun little open mic that's popped up. So we'll see how it goes. That's all I got this week. Like I said, I've been slack booking gigs, but yeah, I'm doing shit in the background. So bear with me, everyone. Other than that, if you want to get in touch with the show, send submissions via DM on Instagram or shoot me an email at can'tgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. On the back of that, I know I plug that every week, but it doesn't really mean anything. I'm thinking now that we have a decent amount of downloads, if you guys want to voice record your Can't Get Any Worse moment of the week, I know there's probably, 4 or 5 of you guys that send me DMs of, oh my God, this awkward thing just happened and I fucking hate my life because of it. Get out your voice recorder, record it and shoot it through as an email. And maybe I'll just start doing that as a bit of a segment on the show. I know I tried it fucking a year ago or something, but yeah, like I said, now downloads are looking better. Shoot through you Can't Get Any Worse stories and be featured on the show for a bit of fun. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the podcast is fucking, it feels like we're finally getting somewhere. And genuinely, it is off the back of all you guys listening to this every week and just boosting those downloads, sharing shit, and getting those ratings in. So bottom of my heart, without being a fucking homo, thank you all very much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's all